I'm Mark Callahan, Mr. Saltwater Tank, coming to you on behalf of SaltwaterAquarium.com. A reef tank has vastly different needs than a fish only with live rock tank. And one of the biggest differences in needs is in the area of nutrients. See, fish largely don't care what the nutrient levels are in your tank. Your nitrate levels could be 50 parts per million, your phosphate levels could be 2.0 parts per million, and your fish could care less. Now your corals do care, and Nuisance Algae really wants you not to care about what the nutrient levels are in your tank. The first step in managing your nutrient levels, though, is to realize that you have a nutrient level problem. For a reef tank, when nitrates get above 7 parts per million and phosphates get above 0.1 parts per million, my nutrient management team goes on alert. For a fish only with live rock tank, my nutrient threshold is higher. Nitrates above 20 parts per million and phosphates above 0.25 parts per million. While fish don't care about nutrients like corals do, higher nutrients are a great invitation for nuisance algae to show up. A nuisance algae is like the guy who shows up at a party that no one invited. Not welcome, annoying, and someone you wish would just leave. Once you know you have a nutrient problem, what do you do about it? Well, the first step in managing your nutrient problem is to actually care. I've seen lots of reefers stick their head in the sand, act like they don't have a nutrient problem, and then wonder why they're having issues with their tank. So if you want to attack your nutrient problem, here's what to do. The most immediate way to affect nutrient levels in your tank is to do a water change. The catch is you need to do a large water change to really make a dent in your nutrient levels. To see big changes, you want to do at least a 50% water change. That big of a water change is easy in a small tank like the budget Reef, where a 50% water change is 10 gallons. On larger tanks like my 450-gallon Reef, to do a 50% water change, I need 225 gallons of salt water on hand. That's either a large holding container or a lot of 5-gallon buckets. Note that a water change only has a temporary effect on your nutrients. If you still have a source of high nutrients in your tank, the nutrient levels will rise again, and they can rise again quickly. Doing large water changes frequently isn't feasible due to the time involved and the cost of salt. For longer lasting effects to lower your nutrients, you need to change your habits around your tank and potentially invest some coin. Here are habits to change to help with nutrient levels. First, feed better food. If your fish aren't eating all or even much of the food you're feeding, switch foods. Some foods have a lot of junk in them, like ground up shrimp exoskeletons. What your fish don't eat ends up decaying in your tank, which can drive up nutrients. Your fish have certain foods they like, and it's your job to observe them and make sure what you serve up is what they want. Second, feed less food. Overfeeding is a great way to drive up your nutrient levels. Only feed enough that your fish get 2 to 3 bites of feeding. If you think they need more food, you can feed again, but wait several hours. Even if you do feed again, 2 to 3 bites each feeding is enough. While we're on the topic of food, if you're feeding your corals, stop! Corals are photosynthetic, so they get what they need from the lights over your tank. They do get some nutrition from eating out of the water column, and whatever fish food or fish waste they catch is fine. They don't need more calories, and nuisance algae will happily gobble up all that coral food blowing around your tank. Too many fish. Fish produce waste, so the more fish you have, the more waste that's going to be produced. Some fish are bigger waste producers than others. Tangs, triggers, eels, big angels, all, well, poop big poop, and when they poop a lot. Even though some fish eat the poop, it's still waste that will get broken down into nutrients in your tank. Reducing the number of fish in your tank directly affects nutrient levels, especially when you remove the big poopers. Note, please make sure you find your fish a good home. Flushing them isn't humane. And whatever you do, don't release them back into the wild. Your fish buddy or another reefer in your reef club may want them. Better gear can impact nutrient levels. Skimmers that skim consistently and media reactors with media that is swapped out regularly all impact nutrient levels. Cheap gear that is fickle or breaks often isn't going to help reduce your nutrient level. One highly effective method for managing nutrients in your tank is to carbon dose your tank. Now, carbon dosing your tank is different than adding activated carbon to your tank. When you're carbon dosing your tank, you're introducing a carbon source to the tank, and that carbon source makes bacteria grow. When that bacteria grows, it munches up the nutrients, and then you export that bacteria either through protein skimming or through water changes. Now, protein skimming is much more effective for exporting that bacteria, so if you want to go the carbon dose route, make sure you have a skimmer on your tank and make sure that it's working well. High nutrient levels don't have to be a problem in your reef. Nearly every system that I've built for myself and for my clients are nutrient poor. I'm actually trying to raise nutrient levels in those systems. Now, how did I do that? Well, first, I built a quality system that was well designed, and then I followed the steps that I've outlined for you in this video. If you're in the high nutrient camp, drop those nutrient levels, avoid nuisance algae outbreaks, and then maintain those lower nutrient levels. Nuisance algae may hate you, but your corals are going to love you, and you're going to enjoy your reef a heck of a lot more. I'm Mark Callahan, Mr. Saltwater Tank, coming to you on behalf of SaltwaterAquarium.com. I'll catch you in the next episode.